Great to have with us today James Gamble and Nick Singleton with United Baseball, and they are involved with, as a matter of fact, if you've got a hat rack at the house, you guys have got to get a bigger hat rack because you've got so many different caps that you wear. But today we're going to talk United Baseball. James Gamble, Nick Singleton, how you doing?
Good, Robert. Thanks for having us.
James, let me start with you because you are the founder, the brainchild for the umbrella that includes United Baseball. So let's briefly go back in time and tell us how UBO became a part of the resume for James Gamble.
Well, we've always been involved. We started our company, Global Scouting Bureau, in 1998. We were dealing primarily with professional athlete advancement. And about 15 years ago, in about 2010, we wanted an amateur division to help athletes going from high school to college. That's when United Baseball Organization was basically founded. It is the amateur division of the Global Scouting Bureau. Everything we do is focused on advancing athletes.
Now, I say this past week, it's been about a week and a half ago, you had the United Baseball spring training. Now, tell us what that spring training was about, what its purpose was, and really, too, I want to kind of touch on the differences between UBO and maybe your standard form of summer league baseball.
All right. Well, I'll tell you that from a United Baseball organization, we model ourselves after Major League Baseball. So we try to get guys into the organization, and our foundation is development and then advancement. So we want to develop the athletes, and it's important for us, like at the spring training, all of our coaches, we had more than 30 coaches that were there, more than 400 players attended, where all of our coaches get to learn the players. And our goal at that point is to identify where they're at, their strengths and weaknesses. We all work together, and our network is really the key. So once we learn the players, we all network trying to find homes for them at the next level, as well as identify things that they can work on so they can prepare themselves for the next level. And we all work in conjunction. So.
Nick, bringing you into the conversation where the United Baseball spring training is concerned, was it also a team placement or development event too? I mean, did you take a look at what players did there and put them on particular teams that will be playing this summer?
Well, like James was saying, we physically go out and recruit all of our players. It's not like hey, there's a registration to sign up to play summer baseball. We actually physically go out, all of our staff go out throughout the high school season and recruit players. And of course, we have a lot of returning players, but so spring training is more of a evaluation for all of our staff, our coaches, to see the players all in one location. Now it's a massive event. We've had, I believe this year we had somewhere close to 400 players, and we have to split guys up with a older division, younger division, using two different college sites because we do a pro style workout, and then we have scrimmage games so our players can acclimate to their new teammates. The coaches get an opportunity to learn what they have. Maybe they know some of the players on the roster, maybe they don't, and so it's a very massive event, which you guys with JockJive have been there for the past few years, taking clips of our spring training workout, the pro style workout on the first day, and then streaming live some of the scrimmage games, which obviously, Robert, I'm sure you've noticed, it is a little bit different. We have coaches out there umpiring behind the mound, talking to the players during the game. It's a real scrimmage, like a college scrimmage would be, so we can identify what we currently have, the players, what positions they play. Although they've told us, Coach, I'm a shortstop. Well, if you're a shortstop, you can more than likely play multiple positions. And what we want to convey, the message we're looking to convey to our players is college coaches may be looking for a shortstop, but just because they recruit you and sign you as a shortstop does not mean you're going to go play shortstop for them. You may play third base, second base, left field, right field, center field. Basically, these coaches are recruiting athletes, and that's what we're trying to identify is where is a player's athletic ability at currently.
I never thought about it before, but Nick, is this also an opportunity to evaluate coaches, or is it exclusively a look at the players?
Absolutely. We have coaches that are very knowledgeable about baseball, but then you get into the processes of what we do, which we are in the travel baseball industry. However, we try to approach things like James Gamble was saying from the Global Scouting Bureau standpoint of a player advancement company. It's not really travel baseball, although we're in the industry. That's what we're trying to, uh, convey to not only our players and parents, but the coaches as well, because a lot of coaches that we have are former pro guys, former college coaches, or current high school coaches that, while they're very good at coaching their high school team, summer baseball is slightly different. It's not about going and trying to win every game you play, and that's the main purpose. Although when they're on the baseball field, they are trying to win. It's more of a individual player advancement scenario. So we're trying to help each individual player better themselves so they can continue their future in advance.
James, let me ask you in regards to the fact that, using last year as an example, 67 guys were eligible to move on from United Baseball and find a collegiate home, and you found all 67 a place to play baseball as they continue their career. I mean, that's a pretty good percent. You can't get any better than batting 1,000%. So put your finger on why you've been so successful in matching player with college.
Honesty. I think we're very honest. Players aren't always used to that. When we look at the athletes, we identify where they're at and we tell them honestly. All of our coaches have really bought into the concept of being truthful, even if it hurts. A lot of times, players are misled because they use hype. And our goal is to be honest with them on currently where their athletic ability is, their academic ability is, because it takes three abilities to play at the next level: athletic, academic, and financial. If you're going to go to an Ivy League school, you're not only going to need to have really good academic ability, it's going to have a certain cost. So we try to open all this up to the families and players. And in today's world of college baseball, everything's a one-year deal. I mean, if you go somewhere and you play really well, you can go in the portal and move. Just found out yesterday that more than 4,000 players are currently in the portal. Whether I like it or not is irrelevant. It's the current way that college sports are played. So it's a one-year deal. If a kid gets an opportunity and he goes and does well, he can advance. So our goal is trying to pair him up where he can go and play, not just go and be on a team, because when you have 40-man rosters, you want to make sure when you go somewhere, you're getting the opportunity to develop and then potentially advance.
Differentiate for our viewer. I mean, there are admittedly a number of summer ball leagues. You obviously have got a huge appeal. 400 come out a week and a half ago to sign up for spring training. What is it that separates United Baseball from the others?
I believe it's the ideology and the track record of success that we have in advancing the athletes. We're not looking to go out and say, hey, Nick Singleton, we've got the best team in the Southeast and we're trying to win to make ourselves look good. Our focus is on the athlete, trying to make sure we have the athlete on the right team within our organization where he can play, we can identify his talent level, and then we can advance him. So we're not as concerned about the name on the front of the shirt. We're more concerned about the individual and his goals and dreams and pairing him with future opportunities.
Nick, talk about the fact that UBO is international. I mean, you have made several trips to the Dominican Republic. As a matter of fact, the United Baseball Organization spring training featured about 6 or 7 guys from the Dominican Republic. So really, the sky is the limit for UBO.
That's right, and we're trying to continue to grow in a positive way. And speaking in terms of the international players, yes, of course, I played professional baseball for 8 seasons and played all over the United States and in Mexico. And so I've played with a lot of international players and developed relationships over the years. And that's how we move players, is by relationships, but also, how we have connections internationally where, we know of academies in the Dominican Republic where there's a lot of very good baseball players, but they have limited opportunities. It's almost professional baseball or bust over there, and it's not the same here. So what we're trying to do is not only help these younger Dominican players, which, your 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old players, we're trying to help them professionally, and some are not quite ready. So what we're doing is bringing them to the United States to acclimate with our processes and the opportunities that are here. We brought 7 guys over, and 2 of which are staying in Louisiana. And so you have Hensel Zamora and Idri Mercado, who are both younger guys staying here in the States to get looks. And hopefully we're able to get them into the high school programs here in the United States, so they get the opportunity, because they're not quite ready for professional baseball. So we're trying to give them the opportunity to maybe get some looks from colleges and get opportunities to play, extend their career until they have developed where they can move on to professional baseball.
I feel like I know James Gamble and Nick Singleton well enough to know that there's not this constraint. You're looking beyond today. You're always thinking ahead to something that could transpire either next year or 2 years or 5 years down the road. Do you see UBO putting on events like we saw in Mississippi about 10 days ago in the Dominican Republic or in other parts of the U.S.?
I'll jump in. I think, yes, we can see things like that. We're already doing some of these events on the professional side, and this is almost like a year one to try to open the minds of players around the world that at 16 and 17 years old, you don't have to be professional ready. In their countries, you do. But now there are opportunities to go and get an education and become a professional person. Even if you don't become a professional athlete, you can move on to college, get a degree. So I do think we're going to do more of them, both domestically and internationally in the future.
Let me ask this in closing, and of course, this is a 2-part conversation, and we'll have part 2 of our interview coming up. In closing, there is admittedly, I don't know if confusion is the right word, but those different levels of global scouting, United Baseball, Showcase Series. How do you differentiate those for the viewer or the participant who might get confused at times as to which involves what particular service?
Well, I'll start and maybe Nick can jump in. Global Scouting Bureau is the parent company, and our focus is at all levels is about advancement of athletes, as well as helping teams find what they're looking for. With that being said, on the pro side, we work only under Global Scouting Bureau. Once we get down into the amateur, our amateur division is United Baseball. That's based on an ideology where we're all united through sports that we play. It's not a brand, it's more of an ideology. And my life, Nick's life, I've been all over the world based on the sport of baseball. Now, we also own a tournament company. While Nick had mentioned earlier, we go out and see all of the athletes. It's important for us to be able to see them multiple times because baseball is a game of consistency. And unless you're that elite athlete that's 6'4", left-handed and throws 94, maybe one look will do it for you. But the majority of athletes, we need to see them multiple times by multiple guys in our organization. That's what really started Showcase Series, where athletes both within our company and outside groups come in and play. We have directors and scouts at every single venue so that we can see the players and help them to advance. Nick, you might want to add some to it.
Yeah, essentially what we want to do with Showcase Series is, like you hit on it, teams that are outside of United Baseball organization. We have multiple connections with high school coaches, college coaches, and they have relationships with groups that have teams, whether they have 1 or 2 teams or 20 teams. And, you know, they're not all going to be part of United Baseball. So how can we help those players as well? Well, these are the tournaments that we're running through Showcase Series is the outlet to be able to help those guys. But again, you know, when we see a player one time, like James said, sometimes one time doesn't get it. Sometimes it does if you are a very, very projectable athlete. But for the vast majority, we need to see you multiple times. And so having baseball games in different regions, I mean, we track between Houston, Texas to Tallahassee, Florida, and everything in between. And we highlight tournaments at a college. That's our goal, is to get players, whether they're part of United or outside of United, on college fields so they can see, touch, and play on these fields. but not only the fields, see the college campus, because if they're from Tallahassee, Florida, and we're playing at Tallahassee Community College, maybe they've never been on the campus and they've just had this dream of, oh, I want to go play at Florida State, and people are telling them they're not good enough. And now we got to go to, Tallahassee Community College, maybe the only opportunity, which is a very good opportunity. But if you're able to get on campus and see it, maybe you look at it and go, I'm not sure if I want to go to this school based on what I'm seeing. Or, oh my gosh, I had no idea. This is an amazing facility, amazing campus. I would love to be here. If they recruit me, I want to go. So not only that, but if you have dreams of going to Tallahassee Community College, their coaching staff's going to be there. And so if you have the tools that they're looking for, they're going to talk to you. They're going to show interest. And just from being on their field, being on their campus.
James Gamble, in closing, the individual that is interested in United Baseball that's not currently participating, obviously you've got an online presence. Where do they go to get more information?
I would start with unitedbaseball.org, and then from there, they can go and look at our coaches. We have access to all of our coaches and staff where they can reach out, ask questions, learn more about us, our ideology, and, reach out to us and we can communicate with them.
James Gamble, Nick Singleton, United Baseball, thanks for being with us. Great organization. I think 400 plus strong on spring training day is indicative of the program that you've got. Great interest, great program, and thanks for being our guest.
Thank you, Robert.